from one intense Michigan loss to a very important game on the basketball court this week. We did a big preview of Michigan State on our unscripted episode. That's our Michigan State podcast with the Field of 68. That's going to come out Tuesday, I believe. We also just put a Michigan video reacting to their win against Maryland separate on the channel. There's about 30 minutes of that we can get into. So for this, we kind of just want to look forward to Michigan State and do quick hitting thoughts on that game. But I also know this, Cart. When we recorded our Michigan-Maryland reaction last night, you had not watched the game in real time. You'd seen some highlights. You'd known what happened, and you talked about it. But then overnight, I woke up to full paragraphs from you after watching the game in depth at like 1 a.m. So given what you now know, I feel like we got to give you the microphone first here. Would you like to retract your statements on Michigan not being back? Do you have any sort of new thoughts on where Michigan basketball is at heading into this week?
Michigan's not dead. They're not dead. They're alive for sure. So I definitely want to retract that statement first and foremost. I thought that, I don't know, that Michigan team, for me, it seemed like in the first half, they were able to just absolutely take advantage of the fact that Maryland was playing undersized centers against this team. And it was kind of weird to me because as much as I wanted to give Michigan credit for playing so well, and I do want to give them credit for playing well and beating that team. That was like a never in doubt game from the moment of the tip. 16-0 to start the game. It's a 30-point lead at half. It gets up to 40 mostly the whole second half. Like they broke that Maryland team. Willard was sitting his starters in the second half because they were playing so bad, like trying to send a message, and that didn't even work. It was just bad all the way around. But at the same time, I would still err on the fact that is more of an indictment on Maryland and how not good they are. Like they were doing small ball but they were playing like they still had a big on the offensive end. Like they weren't neutralizing the fact that they were playing small ball on the defensive end and utilizing that on the offensive end. And they were playing Patrick Emilian and Noah Batchelor one-on-one in the post against Hunter Dickinson and not sending a double, like straight up just letting Hunter back their 6'8" center down, which was interesting strategy to me. But Kobe Buffkin, once again, impressive. Like that, you were right about that steal and dime and then the block on the back. Like that was nice. And Kobe looks like a guy, like just eye test. You talk about loving eye test. Looks like a guy. Yeah. Doug is wild. He's wild as shit.
He's wild.
And I think he might be more wild in a bad way than a good way that you like to see.
No, it's very true. The games that are notable enough to talk about Doug include a lot of bad moments. Like when we're not talking about Doug, he's normally much more solid and there's not much to talk about. The games where it's like, oh, did you see what Doug did? Usually there's some good and some bad. I still I think long-term Doug's going to be pretty great. Like, cause his wow moments are super wow moments.
Yeah, and you can bank on a guy like that kind of because you see the game there and you see like what he can do. But if you can just kind of I don't know the word, like hone that, there's a player there. So like, having that as a true freshman and what he's doing, that's like something. I see why you're excited about that being like possibly your point guard for like, let's say he stays, like he might stay for league. He's probably a 4-year player. He has to be. So
he's not going to
league. Having that locked down as your point guard for the next couple of years is definitely a luxury to have. And he's definitely going to improve. So that's for sure good for Michigan.
Can I go back to Kobe? Can I go back to Kobe?
Yeah, please do.
So I like, obviously I wanted a lot of him last year because I wasn't the biggest Eli Brooks fan, and I thought Michigan had nothing off the bench from their guards. Like you got this McDonald's All-American kid, even if he's not ready, get him 10 minutes a game, see what you got. And Kobe was just essentially like a spot shooter guy last year who looked totally lost on defense and couldn't make a three. What we didn't see from Kobe at all last year was any of this on-ball ability. And I think the moment that changed, I'm actually planning to put like a little Twitter thread together later today of some clips because I think Michigan being
Greg Vicini.
Listen, Michigan being so bad this year has prevented a lot of people from realizing what Kobe's been doing. And I'm not like, people shouldn't pay attention to Michigan. They've been horrible. That's fine. Like they have to win many more games before we should even take them seriously. But when Jalen Llewellyn went down, Kobe has essentially become a total monster ever since. And like, he has to play point guard. Maybe that's a good thing for him. Like maybe he is a 6'6" point guard. I don't know. Like he makes reads and takes care of the ball like he is a point guard right now. He also, like, the broken shot at the beginning of the year, I feel like him doing more on ball has helped him with that. He's more of like a pull-up guy than he is a catch and shoot spot 3-point shooter to me. He can still hit them. He's shooting the ball better lately, but like his new role in the offense has allowed him to get to spots that he's more successful in. And I think he has the makings for real. It might not fully come together this year, but I think like at some point in his Michigan career, probably next year, I think he's a first team all conference guy. Like he's very close to just being like a 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists guy. And they don't need that this year because they got Hunter and Jet. Next year, maybe they don't have Hunter and Jet. Maybe Michigan's horrible, but Kobe Buffkin's a big problem when you get there.
And another thing for Kobe, positive for me, is that at least what I saw last year in the small time that he played, it seemed like a guy that wasn't ready, he wasn't ready to be like put into a situation. Like I felt like if last year you put him in the game, he kind of looked like a deer in the headlights. And this year, whether it be because he was thrusted into the situation or, because of, other factors, the fact that Llewellyn goes down and he has to step up. And as a sophomore who basically didn't play last year, so call him a freshman, has stepped up basically. Yeah. Like that alone and just where he's at mentally is encouraging. So,
yeah, for sure.
Okay,
and
right. I think I need to relax because I've just been
it's a lot.
All I've gotten out of this segment so far is that the Michigan backcourt is so encouraging.
We got a future for once. That feels good. And it can all be attributed to Jalen Llewellyn going down, as sad as that is. All of a sudden, we're excited about Doug and Kobe. Who would have thought that would have happened when Ivy League goes down? I also, there was a Doug McDaniel clip. You probably know the one I'm talking about, where he went coast to coast in the blink of an eye when they had no numbers. He was like driving 1-on-5, and all of a sudden, like he looks like he's going to throw this crazy layup together, and he drops it off for a Hunter trailing dunk wide open. And I clipped it and sent it to the Michigan Hoops forums and said, they don't teach that in the Ivy League. They just don't. I just want to be very clear about that. So, okay, looking forward from this Michigan team's perspective, and then we'll get to the Michigan State element of the preview here. But Maryland, like you said, kind of played the Tom Izzo, we're going to let Hunter get 50 game plan. That worked for Michigan State last year. Let's stay home on everybody else. Let's let Hunter get 50. That didn't work for Maryland last night. They're about to play Penn State on a Wednesday. I'm very fascinated to see what Penn State's going to do. I think Penn State might throw like zone looks at Michigan, which will probably be more effective than anything else they could do. But if Penn State, who doesn't play a center, wants to either double and or leave Hunter one-on-one, that seems like a good matchup. And then you've obviously got Hunter versus Mady Sissoko. So does Michigan having the success they had against Maryland, given that Maryland played the same defensive concept scheme that Izzo did last year that worked, does that make you worried at all going into Michigan State this weekend?
Coming out of it, yeah, I'm in a position where I would like to double Hunter.
Okay.
So I'm doubling off of a Terrence Williams. Despite how Kobe has shot this year and shot as recently, I'm doubling off of him. There's a bunch of guys on the floor I'm doubling off of. I mean, maybe a guy like Joey Baker I wouldn't double off of, but with the personnel that Michigan has on the floor, I'd be more comfortable going just full on, just double him and let's see if they can beat us from the outside, shooting, pretty good looks. But they start hitting those, maybe you adjust. But the main takeaway is that if we are going to do small ball, and this is something that I think looking before we even get to the Michigan State thing for Penn State and Michigan, you have to be able to take advantage of it on the offensive end, or else it's going to get ugly. Like if you're not taking advantage of small ball on the offensive end, then you get down 16-0 and you lose by 40. Like that's what that Maryland game showed me. So, I'm definitely more so on the and even with Michigan State, like I don't want Mady to check Hunter one-on-one. And I might be in the only camp that says that, but I do not want him to check him one-on-one. Even if he does have the, quote unquote size to, match up with Hunter, like, no, I do not want Hunter to be able to have it one-on-one. I'm doubling off of whoever you choose, whoever's better in the situation, and seeing what that team can do from the outside. And if they start hitting, maybe we adjust. But I think the game plan right away should just be double Hunter and make other guys beat you.
I would do the same thing for the record, because you can double off Terrence Williams, you can double off Doug McDaniel, and one of those two is going to be on the floor at all times. Like, even if you don't want to double off Kobe, those two are on the floor more often than not. And even when Joey Baker's in the game, one of them is still on the floor. So I would 100% do that. I don't think Michigan State's going to do that, though. I at least with Mady, I expect just pure one-on-one. And
I hate pride.
I don't know that I'd call it pride, man, because it is a toughness thing for Izzo. You've heard him talk about that. Like, it's a toughness. My guy versus your guy. Let's do it. But it also worked last year. And last year's Michigan team isn't that different than this year's Michigan team. Musso was on the floor with him a lot. I think they had more shooting at the other spots than this year's Michigan team, which might force the idea of a double more this year than last year. But I don't know. I think the biggest thing to watch for that, though, would be if you don't double with Mady. Mady's picking up 2 fouls in 5 minutes. Like, you saw Julian Reese got 2 fouls in 4 minutes in this game. And then they had to play Noah Batchelor and whoever, Emilian. Like, and Mady's pretty foul prone in general. So that would be my biggest fear from a Michigan State side. It's just like, if you are going to single Hunter, I'm pretty sure Mady will get 2 fouls quickly. And then what do? Do you have to go small ball, or is Izzo going to say, nah, Carson Cooper, it's your turn? Like, because that's a scary proposition, right?
That's not fair. That's not fair to Carson Cooper either. Do not do that to that man.
Like, this could be the first game, I think, where you really are like, man, we could have used just like a Julius Marble type. Like, at least last year, if Bingham was getting torched or if he was in foul trouble, it's like, oh, we have another true center. And he's not a great defensive one, but he's a body, and you've got 10 fouls between them. In this game, you've got 5 fouls from a center. And then any other solution you have that's not Mady Sissoko in this one is like Hunter's licking his chops for. So we'll see. That said, I think you and I both still believe Michigan State should win this game, right? Like, we haven't shifted from that. We go in depth on it on Unscripted, but I expect Michigan State to win this game. I expect Breslin to be rocking. I expect the guards to win their matchup significantly. And I think my prediction was Hunter gets 39 and Michigan State wins by 14.
Yeah. And I know last night I mentioned, or you mentioned that AJ Hoggard might have his legacy game at Chrysler. And I was saying that this was a Joey legacy game. I might want to switch that. I might want to go AJ Hoggard legacy game for this first one, because and I'll say this, I think it's going to be either a legacy game or a disaster class, because he's going to see Doug checking him. And AJ loves to post up smaller guards and overpower guards.
I think they might put Kobe on AJ. Maybe okay, not.
And then put Doug on Tyson.
Tyson, yeah.
That'd probably be smart, wouldn't it?
So at the beginning of the year, no way. You're most afraid of Tyson getting 20 and cooking you off the dribble, and maybe AJ's in his own head and you don't have to worry about him too much. I think my bigger fear would be AJ gets going and he bullies right through Doug. So in that sense, it would be nice to put Kobe on him. But then, I mean, again, that leaves Tyson in a spot where he can essentially shoot over Doug as much as he wants. That said, Tyson's pretty small too. Like, how tall are we saying Tyson Walker is these days?
No, I mean, Doug is very small, but Tyson's definitely not tall. But I think that, I mean, I don't know. It goes either way. Like,
Tyson's struggling a little bit.
Buffkin's size would definitely bother Tyson, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
and AJ could definitely overpower Doug.
So you got to pick
the
one.
post.
You got to pick one if
Yeah.
you're Michigan. You're not going to take away both. You gotta pick whether you want to make AJ Hoggard beat you or Tyson Walker beat you. I think if both play their best, I would rather take away Tyson and make AJ Hoggard beat you. But right now, Tyson Walker's not playing very well or not shooting very well. AJ Hoggard has been great for a month. So that'll be an interesting question for Juwan Howard, how he approaches that. I also think Penn State's a good warm up for that because, like, are they going to put Kobe on Jalen Pickett and make Doug like chase one of the shooters? Probably, right? Like they don't want Jalen Pickett posting up Doug McDaniel the whole game. So
right.
Good lead in for Michigan State there. Listen to Unscripted for our full preview. Anything else you want to say before this game? I don't know that we're going to reconvene. Maybe we will midweek, but this might be our final opportunity to preview this game. Cart, anything you want people to know?
No, I feel this. I echo the sentiment that Michigan State is going to win this basketball game. That's kind of basically it. I think we touched on everything. I'm definitely interested to see what the game plan is going to be. That's going to be big for me. Like how they come out in before that first media timeout and the approach they take is going to be a big indicator on how the game's going to go, I think. Yeah. And in-game adjustments might also win this basketball game, which makes me feel pretty good because prior to last game, I think that was Juwan's first instant where he had kind of an in-game adjustments and made adjustments that worked. I think Izzo's done that a couple of times this year already. Yeah. So I'm confident that Izzo can make if it's an in-game adjustment battle, I'm giving the nod to Coach Izzo on that one. So I think that might come into play with this game.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Coaching matchup goes Michigan State's way right now. Although give credit to Juwan for the Maryland game because I think all his decisions helped lead them down that path.
And I would like to say two more things before we move on.
Please.
I can't believe that Patrick Emilion plays minutes for Maryland. That should be an indicator of that basketball team. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. That he's okay. Fashion Nova light skinned Jason Wittens. That Maryland 1-2-2. I'm sorry.
Michigan
the Michigan 1-2-2 that you praised. I'm disgusted that you praised that. That 1-2-2 stinks.
I praised it because it was different. I didn't praise it because it was good. It worked in this game.
Okay.
It worked in this game.
And I'm okay. Okay. I'm okay with that then.
Yeah. The concept of like, hey, we're going to throw something we've never thrown out there before and the other coach isn't going to expect it is what I'm praising. Not that it was a good zone. So like maybe that means Juwan Howard has tricks up his sleeve is the point. If he's bringing shit out he's never done before, maybe he does that against Michigan State at some point. You never know.
Tricks, violence, and family. The three things in Juwan's sleeve.
Violence, really? I don't know that
anger, perhaps.
I don't know that he's that violent. Sweet 16s, perhaps. Those got to be somewhere around here. Again, maybe this should be a recurring segment. Are we firing Juwan Howard after this season? Because a week ago we were firing Juwan Howard after this season. Are we firing him at this point? 8-5, 2-0 in the Big Ten. Is he fired at the end of this season? Okay. We'll come back and check in again next week. I know there was a lot of speculation from Michigan State fans that this could be it for Juwan Howard following his second consecutive Sweet 16 appearance. So we'll see. All right.